Yay, woo! The clock. Do you have a noose? Do you have a noose for me? Hopefully not. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Deliver Digital, for putting this together. I was supposed to be a sponsor. He called me, we talked, and he said, actually, you should pitch. I was like, okay. I thought 20 people. There's more than that here. So my fingers are crossed. Bottom right. I can't help it. I can't help it. Can we wait to start the clock? Okay. No, I'm just kidding. I did try this last night. I'm playing close to 7 minutes. Yeah, over there. That'd be great. So thank you guys for welcoming Domino Collective. My name is Mike Henry, born and bred Calgarian. A little bit about us. We're a Calgary-based consulting firm. We focus on maturing data and intelligence within organizations and bringing value through delivery and through coaching and mentorship. And so I think you're all here to learn a bit about AI. We think coaching and mentorship in this landscape is pivotal in doing that. That slide moved on me. There we go. Our process includes strategy development around data and analytics and AI, business process optimization, change management, how do you adopt some of these tools, all things data, management, integration, engineering, all the things data. And then how do we uncover opportunities within individuals, within interdepartmental teams to unlock value. And as a group, we've got about over 80 years experience in delivering technology solutions within Calgary, within the marketplace. So what makes us unique? We believe that successful data and AI programs and portfolios are built based on the relationship between people and technology. And how do you leverage that? And for us, that's ultimate. And we do this by creating an environment, number one, creating an environment to improve data collection, data management, all things data, all the technical components. We do that. System management, so we do believe in the ecosystem. The systems that curate all your content is important. So how do you leverage those better? Secondly, how do you improve the relationship between teams? So we see a lot of silos that happens within organizations. It's typically enterprises that we deal with, small, medium-sized businesses. How do we improve that relationship internally? Data and technology agnostic. We think this creates an awareness of how processes use data to create value. And so if we can improve that relationship with people and their relationship with data, we think they can get value from that. This thing's tricky. And we do that to support decision-making and to create value for your organization through data analytics and through decision-making. And so this is a small example of the orange represents what we're all here for. And so I've been an energy guy for 20 years. Really what we kind of focus on is how do I improve downtime? That's really easy. Let's use AI. That's great. But if you look in the top right there, it's like we want to predict failures. There's many models that you have to build. What people seem to neglect is all the stuff upstream from that needs to be in place in order to capitalize on that. And that's usually the stuff that gets in the way. And so what we try to do is introduce all the things upstream from where you can get money from and say, what's required to keep this thing in action? Because the last thing you want to do is babysit an ML model. That gets really expensive and time consuming. So what we try to identify is what are all the things in the ecosystem that you need in order to sustain this in the long term. And I think this gets neglected a lot. We try to bring visibility into this. How am I doing on time? 4 minutes. And really what you're trying to focus in on is what are all the components that you need to address to support AI? It's a part of the puzzle, it's not the whole thing. System management, your data platform, master data, how do you integrate data between systems? So we try to bring visibility into that says, do you know what this is going to take to build, what it's going to take to sustain, and are you prepared for it? And so what we try to do is build an integrated data ecosystem that allows you to traverse your organization and the data within it. And you do that by creating data that you consume, data that you translate, data that you compute, and all things related to AI that you hear about. How do you deliver it in a way that makes it consumable, that I can discover it as a user? And then how do I leverage that to give me insight in order to create value? Because if you can't see the data to make a decision and take action from it, it's just a fancy report. And so this ecosystem that we try to create is a function of how does data support your processes earlier, allows you to make decisions quickly, and takes advantage of all the technology that you're hearing about and kind of why you're here today. I'm way ahead of time. So lastly, So what we try to do is provide a vision and strategy to build mature, data-driven organizations. It's more than a function of just AI, and you've got to know that. Secondly, how do you identify and quantify the value? So you say, okay, we want to improve downtime on our wells, we got more production. How do you quantify the value of that thing that you're chasing, and what's the investment required to get there, given the ecosystem that you need to understand in order to get there? And then what does that investment take? We want to do AI. Do you actually know how much it's going to cost? If you knew all the ecosystem parts and you said, okay, how do we do this? What is the cost to introduce all those elements in your organization so that you build an ecosystem so that your data program is successful? There we go. And then what we can do is help build, create, and deliver that ecosystem for you, mature it over time, and last but not least, how do you educate your users how to navigate in the space? If they don't know the tools, if they don't understand how it works, if they don't know how to understand how it's integrated, if I don't understand what the person on my left and the person on my right is doing, how do I know that I can trust what's coming out of this thing? And so really, how do we build internal capabilities within your organization that takes advantage of the relationship between data, technology, people, and process, and time?